Tap here for a reminder to watch a life-changing new season of Sis Rise on TLC. That he and I started this family. Because if he can push me out and I leave, he's not the bad guy because he didn't walk away.
Meri has lost some weight, as shown in a screenshot from a TLC promo on Instagram. She looks happy and has a noticeably thinner face. It seems she shed a few pounds beyond the 180 pounds she lost when she parted ways with Kody. She appears fresher, healthier, and much happier than before, with none of the sadness in her eyes that she used to have. She was slim at the start of the show. I wonder if the recent weight gain was due to her depression over her situation. I hope she's losing weight in a healthy way. She deserves to be both happy and healthy. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Reality Nexus X. It's me, Elena, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. However, things Kody acts like he's an expert on. Here's my take. Rewatching my Kelty's gender reveal from season 16. It's frustrating to see how Kody acts like he's experienced unmedicated labor and delivery himself. When they discuss Tony's reservations about a home birth, Kody's intrusion is irritating. With Maddie's labor, he's in her face telling her what to do, even though her midwife is right there. It's as if he's trying to mansplain childbirth. You can't claim someone else's birthing experience. And the housing market. Why does it make sense to rent houses while building new ones and still paying off existing ones? It always puzzled me why the other wives went along with this plan. Why rush to a new location without having homes ready? They could have stayed where they were until the new houses were built. The loan on the new homes wouldn't have started until they were finished. It seems like they did it all for Robyn, and everyone knew it was for her. Ironically, she stayed in her home the longest while the others had to scramble to set up the new location. On the other hand, examples of when Robyn was a jerk. I thought this deserved its own thread, since there are numerous instances of Robyn being selfish, mean, or inconsiderate. Here are a few examples. When Janelle's mom passed away and Kody attended the funeral, Robyn made him promise to return coronavirus negative. Instead of letting him support Janelle during her grief, her main concern was that Kody wouldn't be away for too long or catch coronavirus, which might extend his absence. Kody knew Cheryl for many years and she was married to his dad. Janelle lost her mother and the kids lost a grandmother. Robyn could have let Kody focus on the family and perhaps had her kids make cards or send flowers to Janelle. Instead, she showed up at Janelle's place with a wreath and focused on coronavirus concerns. She missed an opportunity for a life is short realization and could have arranged a family get-together while being considerate of health concerns. Meri wanted a birthday party, and Robyn organized it without hesitation. At that point, rapid tests were available, so she could have suggested a Sunday get-together with a rapid test beforehand. But she stuck to her rigid rules, turning it into a concern about Kody and the boys getting together. It's baffling how she seems unaware of why the wives left and the kids moved on. The 11-day honeymoon that Robyn took while Christine was at home with a newborn and all the other kids to care for. Kody later claimed he couldn't possibly be away from his family for 2 weeks to help Isabel, even though there was no newborn at home at that time. He had no issue leaving Christine's family for 11 days. Oh right, this is about Robyn being a jerk, not Kody? Robyn said her kids couldn't handle being away from Kody for more than 2 days during coronavirus. If Meri had been added back to the rotation, it would have meant 3 days away. Was Robyn genuinely supportive of Meri? She shamed a rail-thin Isabel for pouring a bit too much cereal into her bowl, snatched the bag and bowl back to return cereal to the bag, exclaiming, "It's a snack, not a meal." Robyn got angry at Meri for wanting to go back to school, despite MSWC supposedly being the most important thing to Meri. She called Christine a liar about having issues with Kody in Las Vegas. Robyn kicked the dog. She erased Christine's children from a family photo with Kody, and replace them with her own children, pretending it had always been that way. She spent the family's money on unattractive paintings and precious moments figurines. Robyn had Meri announce her pregnancy to the family when Meri was sad about not being able to have more children. However, before Robyn, I'm trying to understand why Kody couldn't or wouldn't help Christine and Lee. Christine mentions his refusal to put her kids to bed on nights she was working. Kody's excuse was that he had other wives and kids needing his attention, so he didn't have the availability. They were in one house, just down the hall. It would have taken maybe 10 to 15 minutes to check on them. He often claimed that being in one house made it easier for him to be around all his kids every day. So why was this an issue? Yes, I know he's self-centered, but he managed to help Robyn's kids every night in separate houses. He acted like Christine was asking him to stay with them every night, not just ensure they got to bed. Kody claims to be an active and involved father, but his actions suggest otherwise. He used polygamy and his busy schedule as excuses to avoid work he didn't want to do. It wasn't until Robyn came along and showed that Kody was capable of handling these tasks that it became clear he just didn't want to do it for the original wives. Slowly, things fell apart. Kody wasn't truly busy, he was just selfish and lazy. Putting kids to bed, especially with that many, isn't usually a fun task, so Kody had no interest in it. While it's impossible for anyone to be an active father with so many kids and wives, it's clear that Kody severely neglected his other families for Robyn's. He wanted to make her happy, and their lives did improve significantly. His kids grew older, and the show brought in money and comfort, allowing him to be a better parent to Robyn's 2 kids. I don't believe Ari and Sol are Kody's favorite kids. He does things for them because of their mother. I still think his favorites were Janelle's kids. Kody has always had favorites, even before the 4th wife came into the picture. Christine was never a favorite, and unfortunately, that extended to her kids. Currently, Christine is dealing with the fallout from Robyn and Kody's issues. But during her time as the basement wife, the issues she faced predated the arrival of wife number 4. The core issue seems to be that Kody specifically disliked Christine. That's why the complaints Christine had about their situation, both before and after wife number 4, weren't issues for Meri and Janelle. Additionally, hang on a minute, I just remembered during my pre-game rewatch that Meri made Christmas pajamas for all the kids every year. How did she manage to do anything else? That would have been a full-time job for me. Then I'd see everybody next Christmas. We know Christine handles the grocery shopping and canning, so why don't we see more of how much work their lives really involve? What if Robyn isn't a slob, but just a normal person, while the OG3 are some kind of Mormon Avengers, constantly grinding away? I can't get past the pajamas. That's probably why Meri is often seen at the sewing machine during interviews. Where did all those pajamas go? Why aren't they selling years' worth of PJs at a consignment shop called MSWC? That would make more sense. Yes, Meri did all the sewing in the family, from buttons to pajamas and probably more. There just wasn't the money to buy new clothes all the time. All 3 moms contributed where they could when the kids were little. What I don't understand is why they didn't have a vegetable garden, fruit trees, or chickens. The kids would have learned so much from growing veggies, and it would have fed them all. For the record, in my home ec class, we had 3 45-minute sections dedicated to a PG pants pattern. 30 14 to 18-year-old students successfully made them in less than 3 hours spread over several days. We were also learning to use the machine. I can whip out a pair of pants in about an hour, and in an assembly line, each pair would take about 45 minutes, maybe less. It's not a small project, but it's not a Herculean task either. The pajamas were a labor of love, but what really amazes me is Christine. Taking care of all those children, even homeschooling if I recall correctly, doing the food shopping and canning, and in the first season, she was also working at night. She is a superwoman. Moreover, I went searching for a clip from when the Browns appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show in October 2010 and stumbled across a blog where viewers shared their thoughts after the Browns' appearance. Some comments from that time turned out to be quite insightful, considering the Browns had just gone public and not much was known about them then. I was curious about Robyn's age when she was courting Kody. It's surprising to read comments noting she was quite young and already had 3 young children. I want to emphasize that I totally appreciate the work and effort involved in raising children. I had 3 kids by the time I was 26, and while it wasn't easy, the idea of marrying into a family so that others could take care of my kids sounds insane to me. I've been rewatching and found Robyn's insistence that the kids call Kody Dad to be really odd. There's a scene in either season 1 or 2 where Brianna initially calls Kody Kody, and Robyn reacts with something like, "Excuse me," prompting Brianna to then say Daddy. I was shocked and had completely forgotten it happened that way. On the other hand, I'm watching the coronavirus episodes and I'm confused. Why is Kody the only one who can go from house to house whenever he wants, while the rest of the family can't see each other? Does he think he's immune to coronavirus and won't spread it? His going between houses is essentially the same as everyone seeing each other. That should have been their first clue that he was only interested in being with Robyn. He's a narcissist. Him traveling between the 3 houses, since Meri wasn't in the rotation, should have meant that Christine, Janelle, and Robyn's households could interact, as that was the bubble he created. But he acted like he was immune to coronavirus, despite not even being vaccinated, while everyone else was left vulnerable. It was definitely about control and testing everyone's loyalty. Initially, Kody seemed relaxed about coronavirus, and it was Robyn who decided she and her kids would quarantine voluntarily. When others suggested quarantining together, she shut it down. It seems Kody started making the rules to please Robyn, and when he saw any sign of resistance, he took full advantage. Not only could he use coronavirus to control the family, but he could also use it to primarily be with Robyn. Regarding his logic of going house to house, I guess he thought if the wives and kids stayed home all the time, they wouldn't catch or spread the virus to him. What made it even more confusing was that he had a nanny coming in and out of Robyn's house almost every day. He trusted her more than his own children. The nanny could show up for work and be around her husband, despite whoever he was around, but Kody didn't want Garrison to work or Gabe to see his girlfriend, who was supposedly cautious about coronavirus. Ironically, the nanny and her husband ended up catching coronavirus. Did Kody tell her she wouldn't be needed since she must not have followed the rules? Did he expect her husband to follow the rules too? Kody's hypocrisy is infuriating. I think this situation really opened Christine and Janelle's eyes, especially since they considered their adult children's perspectives. The kids pointed out what they observed, and I'm sure this came up in the Christmas texts. Hunter was getting his master's in nursing at Johns Hopkins, but Kody was still trying to tell him how coronavirus would completely change a person's mind. Hunter responded with something like, "You make it sound like schizophrenia." That's one of my favorite lines. Robyn clearly didn't want to be around the other wives or their children. This was a convenient excuse to act on that preference. Also, it was evident that the rules weren't set by Kody alone. Production made that clear. Someone who sets the rules doesn't need to ask permission to break them. He made numerous remarks about how Robyn would never forgive him if he brought coronavirus into their house. When he went to Janelle's mother's funeral, he was supposed to quarantine with her for a few weeks afterward. He didn't stick to that. The cameras followed him home, where he walked straight into the house, hugged the kids, and started making out with Robyn without washing his hands or changing his clothes. It was all just an excuse to be with her all day. However, it's puzzling why Robyn needed a nanny during coronavirus if she was supposedly following strict protocols and never leaving the house. Christine was managing over 10 kids by herself while pregnant, yet Robyn had a nanny for just 2 small children. It raises questions about Robyn's commitment to her own children versus her desire for extra help. Robyn's decision to have a nanny while promoting strict adherence to coronavirus protocols does seem contradictory. It also highlights how Kody and Robyn's rules often appeared self-serving rather than practical. Christine, despite having a much larger household to manage, seemed to be handling things without outside help, which makes Robyn's reliance on a nanny seem even more questionable. Kody's frustration with Christine for revealing the nanny situation was telling. He tried to downplay it by pointing out Christine's remote employee, but that was a poor comparison. Christine's employee wasn't coming into her home daily, which was a significant difference. It's clear that Kody and Robyn used coronavirus as an opportunity to reshape their family dynamics. Kody's insistence on isolating himself at Robyn's while making others choose between him or their children showed his willingness to use the pandemic for his own benefit. His behavior and the way he treated Meri, who was following the rules and still excluded, were major red flags. Robyn's entitlement to hired help might stem from her position as Kody's legal wife, but it's hard not to view it as part of a larger pattern of prioritizing her needs and comfort over the well-being of the rest of the family. Additionally, it's an interesting theory that Robyn and Kody might watch YouTube and adjust their behavior based on what they see. Given the intense scrutiny and criticism they face, it's possible they are aware of public perception and may try to manage it. As for Robyn's crying, it does seem like a deeply ingrained response rather than a strategic choice. If it's a coping mechanism or learned behavior, it would be hard to simply turn it off. It's possible that her reactions are a combination of genuine emotion and learned behavior, shaped by her experiences and interactions with Kody. Robyn's behavior, including her crying and portrayal as a victim, might indeed be tied to how she has been treated and how she has learned to navigate her relationships. If she's received sympathy and favoritism from Kody by showing vulnerability, it's understandable that she might continue this pattern, even if it seems disingenuous to viewers. Moreover, I was against Robyn from the start and couldn't understand her apparent confusion and selfishness regarding Kody and the needs of the other wives throughout last season. However, after some time, distance, and a rewatch, my perspective has changed. Robyn does have a toxic personality. Her tendency to play the victim and involve her kids in that role is unhealthy and damaging. It will likely affect them for the rest of their lives. But ultimately, Kody is the primary culprit here. Yes, he favored her and wanted to spend all this time with her, and she likely had little control over this. Polygamy inherently pits wives against each other for the man's attention. Would she really have told him to leave? Probably not. Kody knew his responsibilities in this plural marriage and should have upheld his commitments. What the show has demonstrated is that polygamy is unsustainable. Kody followed the pattern seen in many plural marriages. Once the children are older and the wives are no longer childbearing, he settles down with his preferred partner. Robyn may feel uncomfortable being the favorite and facing criticism, but is she to blame entirely? I now believe she genuinely wanted the entire arrangement and naively thought the other women would accept the time and attention they received. They might have been okay with it if Kody hadn't been so abusive, using sex as a reward for good behavior. Perhaps if he had treated them better during his limited time with them, they might have stayed. Kody is entirely responsible, but Robyn isn't blameless. She never truly embraced being a sister wife, and Kody allowed and supported her behavior, neglecting his duties as a husband and father once Robyn entered the picture. Kody is fully to blame for his family's breakdown, but I'm not sure he would have taken this path if Robyn hadn't continuously enabled him. Her manipulative tactics are clear, particularly evident in recent interactions. For instance, during the sit-down when Christine was leaving, Robyn asked if Christine wanted to work on their relationships. Christine, seeking space, responded honestly, not considering Robyn might have meant her children as well. Robyn then told her children that Christine essentially hated them and never wanted to see them again. This is just one example of her manipulation. With her controlling the narrative and Kody's ear, no one else stood a chance. So while Kody is at fault, Robyn is also significantly responsible. Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to hear whether you agree or disagree. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell for future updates. Your feedback is important, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you.